Hey everyone, welcome to the second episode of the podcast. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you're having a good day. If you don't know, here we review music. Me and my brother Brennan, my co-host. Brennan Montry, introduce yourself.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm just glad to be on the show. I'll give more of the lyric opinions type stuff. I know, Corbin, we covered this in the first episode, but you're definitely more of the production, mixing, concept kind of guy, and I like dive more into the lyrics myself rather than the beat and everything else. That's more your territory.
Yeah, I mean, I like every aspect of a song, you know. Like I said in the first episode, the beat and the words, they have to coexist properly. And I definitely can find what I like in a beat, you know, more than what I like in the lyrics. That happens quite frequently. But for me to find like replayability in a song, I definitely need both mediums to coexist, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Definitely need some beats to go along with the lyrics that like kind of bring you back, and like, you know, because for music, listening to just the lyrics can kind of get like, you know, I definitely have my songs where the lyrics are the best part of the song, and I like those songs solely for that reason. And some other people might not like that song for those reasons, but like they don't listen to the lyrics, they kind of just like listen to the song to listen to it, and they're like, meh. And we dive more in depth into songs than other people do.
Yeah. It's kind of funny how preference-based music is, you know? It's crazy. It's like how you taste food, you know? Yeah, anyways.
All right, so what are we going to be covering this episode, Corbin?
So here, if you don't know, we go album by album for whatever's new within the last 2 weeks or so, and detail our experience with these projects or singles. Me personally, I love to offer my own interpretation when it comes to music, so I sometimes like to move song by song on each project and give my overall thoughts on that song as a whole, or on each song as a whole, and then how I felt about the album as a whole. You know, it's been a pretty big week for music, and especially for hip-hop and rap. But yeah, today we're covering Abstract, Brockhampton and Phora's new album, and we're also covering a handful of singles, so let's get started with this.
All right, so first, do you want to tackle Abstract?
Yes, Abstract, Superhuman, his brand new album. It's been about 2 years since we got a full-length project from him. If you don't know, Abstract is an independent artist I've been following for years, since his The Science of Feeling Tall mixtape, which I very much enjoyed, and I was pretty excited to hear something new from him, especially a concept album. And this concept is pretty gnarly. It's pretty cool.
It's pretty out there.
Yeah, it's out there, but in a good way. Like, it's not something I've heard, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there's the first 2 songs for me didn't quite make sense yet. I had to go and watch the video that he released with this album to fully like understand the concept before diving into the other songs. So I was glad that you sent me that to watch before. Actually, that was the first thing I watched, and I'm glad I did, because like if I just listened to these first 2 tracks on this album, I would have been kind of lost out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Spoiler alert ahead.
Spoiler alert, if you haven't heard any of these albums that we're going to review, we're going to go into massive detail about them, so if you don't want that spoiled, go give them a listen, then come back. It's okay. We'll wait. Okay, welcome back. Now, I want to start off with Abstract, Superhuman, and I'm going to start, for especially an album like this, I'm definitely going to go song by song.
All right, well, the first one's not really a song, now is it?
No, the first track, if you will, we get is called Takeoff, and this is the intro. Like Brennan said, if you don't know, Abstract released a video that preferenced the entire project by introducing the concept as a whole. This track is basically a skit taken from that video.
It's long.
Yeah, it's long. And to me, this setup is very smart and clever. Okay, so in this, Abstract details the story, he's narrating, and he's acting as if he's a part of artificial intelligence that's becoming conscious. And he talks about the birth of his collective and how they were created by these make-believe planets called the Four Strongest Nations. And together they crafted domes around mainframes and used their own powers to serve the people. But as he's describing this very detailed story, a fully implanted turn of a page, we realize that he's just reading a book titled Moon 51. Or is he? Abstract in the video falls asleep, and then we're quickly introduced to the four circles of the moon. In this story, an artificial intelligence from a dying existence branches out from its own protocol to retrieve an artifact while its own mainframe, its safe haven, collapses. In the AI's own words, everything that it had known was lost, and it was lost, but it had a destination. And that destination was Earth, and it was sent to Earth to study a species who could be compared to the ones who created it, to find its own purpose, essentially. In order to do this, the AI needed a new organic artifact. Using a digitally immersive vitality exercise, the AI found an organic artifact in dream state, the subject being abstract. Okay, so that describes the story, the opening of the track. And to me, the sound effects were really nice. The lingering piano fulfills the background very well. I enjoyed the skit. I felt like it was a perfect setup. I gave it like a 10 out of 10 because it immersed you into, what's to come. So what did you think about it?
I think if you just listen to the skit, you don't watch the movie, you're going to be kind of lost a little bit.
For sure.
It was definitely long, which is another reason I feel like, because people's attention spans aren't like meant to last that long. So I feel like if you just listen to the skit, it's going to be kind of confusing. You're going to be kind of lost. The not music video, but the video itself had a lot of animation in it that was kind of cool to see and everything. And I love the concept of it.
Yeah, the animation was really cool.
It was shot very well and everything. It looked kind of cheesy sometimes with animation, but it got the point across, which is all that really matters to me. And I'm definitely glad that I watched the movie before I jumped right into this track.
Yeah, for sure. Did you give this a rating?
Yeah, I gave this a 7 out of 10. Just because of how long it is. And if you didn't have the video, it would have been confusing.
It's definitely a long setup for sure.
But it's worth it.
Yeah. Okay, so in track 2, Dive 1 is what it's titled. And in this one, it's their first dive into the digitally immersive vitality exercise. And it's basically a loading process.
It's kind of like entering the Matrix.
Yeah, the AI takes Abstract on their first dive together while getting acquainted, looking to fully link with one another, if that's a better description. Before the dive, the AI asks promptly, "Do you want to remember or be remembered?" Then we entered the dive. To me, the track sounded gorgeous. The luscious chords play the intro of the instrumental, leading into heavy percussion, almost sounding like battle drums. Some simple singing with layered vocals create a really nice atmosphere on this track. It was a good track, a good continuation of the story. I believe Abstract has a really nice singing voice, and he ends the track with a lingering thought, "What if life's all we give?" And for this one, I gave like a 9 out of 10. I thought it was a good second track from the first. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, you see, I went the other route. I thought it was kind of slow. Not really my favorite on this album. It's like a good story to start off with, and I understand like he had to do it to kind of like push us in the direction that he needs to take us for this concept. But the song just wasn't for me. I gave it a 6 out of 10.
What'd you think of the instrumentation?
It was good, but like I said, it was slow.
Yeah, I can feel that.
I'm definitely more of a aggressive type guy. Like I like aggressive beats, and like when they go hard on the lyrics and everything, and they like you feel it in the song, like you feel their passion in the song. For this was more like a setup to the album, so I understand it, but it just wasn't for me.
All right, fair enough. Continuing on, the next song is titled Sands, and this song has to deal with everyone being like a form of sand in an hourglass. Our time will come eventually. And what you do now, it matters. You can choose to stand idle or articulate something that will outlive you. And Abstract in the verses details historical events, all in which tells a story of someone doing something that's essentially bigger than what was expected of them. And Abstract is doing this very thing. The words he speaks onto a beat defeats the myth of mortality. His words will live on after his death in the form of an MP3. And to me, I thought the concept was fantastic. I love the lyrics. I thought they were very clever. The guitar break near the end was very appealing to my ears. My biggest problem with this track lies with the elongated chorus and the beat itself. I didn't care for those aspects, but the rest is fantastic to me. So I gave it like a 6 out of 10. Where you at with this?
Actually, I'm right there with you. Although I like the beat on this, and I thought the story was fantastic in it. I gave it a 7 out of 10. It was definitely better than Dive 1, but yeah, you basically hit it on the spot with what you just said.
Yeah, my best friend, he disagreed with my distaste towards those aspects, so I definitely felt like I had to explain in detail why I didn't really care for this one.
I mean, what'd you not like about the beat, though?
I thought it sounded too, I don't know, too poppy is the best way I can describe it. It just, I don't know, something about it I just didn't care for. I can't really put into great detail, really, without at least listening to it a couple more times, but I don't know, after hearing it the 2 or 3 times I did before I wrote this review, every time I'd get to the song, it just part of me kind of wanted to skip it. I don't know. That's just, but the words definitely move it along well, I feel.
Right.
Sorry.
That's fair.
Wish I could
That's
have
fair.
more
No,
of an
that's fair.
explanation, but sometimes, I don't know, a beat just doesn't jive with me. It just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, you're just not feeling
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I totally understandable. It's music.
Yeah.
You know,
Preference.
taste, preference.
Track 4, Love. In this song, it starts with the AI's first question to Abstract, which is simply, what is love? So Abstract details what he believes love is. He says a line in the song, which is funny because that line is, love ain't a line in the song, love is what gets you to sing. And I really like that line. I liked every line in it, but that line just was like, yeah, that was pretty clever. The wavy beat with the trap drums really helped Abstract execute this concept, and the lyrics were just great. It was short, so I don't have a whole lot to say, but I loved it, so I give that one a 9 out of 10. Where you at with it, Brennan?
It was great. I really enjoyed it. It was very relatable in some aspects.
Yes.
Similar to you, a line that I actually took from it was, love comes from loving each other, not from you buying the lies line. And that kind of hit me pretty hard.
I would say this entire track is just a bunch of quotables
Yeah.
for what love is. I really like that. I thought it was really nice.
It was definitely higher up. It was 8 out of 10 for me. Really enjoyed this one.
All right, moving on. Track 5, Better Man. Here, we get our second question from the AI, which is, can you elaborate on a personal connection to love? And Abstract delivers one of my favorite songs. The way the instrumental plays off of Abstract's vocals on the chorus just creates a perfect hook. The lyrics really spoke to me as well. For example, the lyrics, you and I made a home, you changed my whole life. I don't know, those just, like on the chorus, those just stood out to me. And the instrumental was perfect as well. The gentle piano along with heavy percussion and synth chords is just a perfect combo. And the gentle guitar playing that leads us out was also really nice to hear too. This definitely gets a 10 out of 10. What about you?
Thoroughly enjoyed this song. It's, like you said, one of my favorites on the album as well. Again, it was very relatable. And he talks, something that I liked about it was he kind of called out other artists. He talks about being sober and he calls them out for, being high when they're doing their passion, which is making music and stuff. Great song. One of my favorites. Give it a 9 out of 10.
All right, moving on. Track 6, Shot Down. I know this is one of your favorites, but so on this one we get a nice piano melody that opens up the track, and Abstract is asked, does love always develop like that? And here Abstract talks about failed relationships and that being a foundation for writing and recording music. admitting that he's accustomed to vent, and discusses the harsh reality of success by simply stating, when you're up, they're going to try to shoot you down. This is a great track. Abstract sounds angered on the verses and strips that back for the chorus. The beat bangs too. Yeah, this is a good one. I give this one a 9 out of 10.
Well, that 9 should be a 10 because this was my favorite track on the entire album.
Damn.
Good story of love. Most relatable song for me. He talks about being stabbed in the back and being petty and having to vent. And I feel it in him, like when he sings a song.
When you up, they gonna try to shoot you down.
Exactly, and it's
so
it
catchy.
It brought back like memories from past relationships where it was like, where was the song when I was literally going through this same thing?
Yeah, Abstract, where were you? Where were you?
He said the line, he was, gone for 2 years. He says a line, I would say fight fair, but fair was never you. And
yes.
that line, I was like, this right here, this guy gets me. This guy understands exactly where I've been in my life. And he just was basically narrating a portion of my life. And that's why I gave this song a 10 out of 10. You can't change my mind. On to the next one.
Well, no, I was playing. So track 7, Inside Out, another fantastic track. On this track, we get Abstract singing on the hook, and he does a very good job, in my opinion. I love the fact that during the verses, he goes from rapping to when the beat strips itself back a little, he goes back into a singing phase. But again, later on, the beat switches up again, and he goes back into rapping until the chorus. And in this song, Abstract talks about the pent-up emotions he keeps on the inside and doesn't like to show, but he'll do so on a song, depicting his pen and pad as a sword and shield and how he forged these out of difficult times. To me, I thought that was really clever. And as far as the instrumentation, the gorgeous layered piano leads the track for a majority of the time. A synth that has a heavy delay creates the intro, but fades away when the words and the beat come in. But my favorite parts were when the beat switched up. I thought Abstract handled this varied production very well, and I gave this one a 10 out of 10, definitely up there. Where you at with it?
So the song was catchy, and I enjoyed it a lot, and once again, it was very relatable for me. He talks about being angry, but not expressing that.
Yes.
And it's very clear that like he's just hiding his emotions, and instead of getting like up in your face about it, he much rather buries those emotions and then eventually like explodes.
Yeah, being very human.
As I'm sure, very human trait. And he's talking about being hurt by his ex. One of my favorite lines of the song was, "You do me wrong, I won't raise my fist, but I'll write a song, then you wish I did."
Yes, that was clever. That was clever. Just the syllable rhyming in that, it was really good.
It was my favorite line of the song. Like you said, the beat changes was pretty. It was on point. You know what I mean? He didn't miss. No pun intended, but he didn't miss a beat.
Yeah, no.
It was really good. I give this guy 8 out of 10, but the more I listen to it, I'm going to go ahead and bump that one up to a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I've definitely gone back and just listened to this song. All the ones that I gave a 10 out of 10 are really in my heavy rotation throughout the day, to be honest. Okay, so track 8, Father Time. Again, we get some piano. Yes, I love it. It's gentle as well, so that's nice. With an abrasive snare breaking the mold on how the beat will sound. Some wacky guitars join the track near the end of each verse. The beat patterns will pick up and slow down, and again, Abstract handles it very well. Abstract basically personifies Father Time as if he's a real person, talks on how this character likes to act, confessing that time moves forward, holding on to the past will weigh you down. Abstract talks to the AI and says he has let go on the end of the track, admitting that he has held on to a lot of stuff, but he started making music to help navigate his life. And now music is his living, and I really like this track. I give this one an 8 out of 10. Where you at with it?
Disagree. It was slow, smooth, but not my favorite. I did enjoy the old school vibes from it. It kind of gave me like a Logic vibe from, when we talked about in the last week about the Young Sinatra 4 and how it kind of gave you those old school vibes.
Yeah, it had like a gentle boom bap vibe to it for sure.
Yeah, definitely. But other than that, I didn't take anything out of this song. Like, didn't get anything back from it. So for me, I gave it a solid 6 out of 10.
Hey, that's still good though.
Yeah, it's not good if it's below a 5.
Yeah, I don't know if I went below 5 on the song here. We shall see. All right, moving on. Beautiful. I'm going to preface this by saying this is probably my least favorite song.
Okay.
I love everything about Abstract's portion of the song. He shows just how beautiful, living life can be, being his weird introverted self, and the beat is very fun and laid back, enhancing the theme of the track. The drum patterns were nice throughout. Now, my problem with the song is Mod Sun. I thought his verse was very corny, cringy, boring. I just want to skip the song once his verse begins, and I wish Abstract just took over the second verse as well. But yeah, when my son comes in, man, I just tune out. It's just boring. He says really nothing at all. So I gave this one a 6 out of 10 because I still like a majority of it. What do you have? What do you give this one?
Beautiful. It's catchy, extremely repetitive, good, but it doesn't fit the other half of the album. This one was kind of out there. It doesn't really fit the rest of the vibe of this album. And I wish he would stop saying it's beautiful. Because, like I said last week, when it just keeps repeating the same thing over and over, I focus and I dwell more on that than I am with the rest of the song. And I start to notice it, you know what I mean? So I'll just totally ignore the rest of your lyrics and I'm like, oh, there it is again. And, like I'm waiting for it. I'm expecting it. And when you just keep repeating it, it just takes me out of this song. So, but it was catchy. I give it a 7 out of 10. Not my favorite. Not awful. Didn't fit it on this album. Definitely would have been better as a single, in my opinion.
Yeah, just leave it as a single. I would say, you say it's catchy, and it's catchy because it's simple.
Oh, very
that's
simple.
That's just my biggest thing with the song. It's just so simple, and I dislike Mod Sun so much on this record.
I want to say that, like, I don't know what it is, but there's a clump of these 3 songs, and they're all in a row, from Father Time to the one that we're about to cover, Floating, that, like, it just, to me, didn't fit the rest of the album. Well, Floating kind of does, but to me, the rest of the album's more, like, aggressive, and he's talking more about, like, life, and these were more mellow, chill, like, kind of poppy type songs.
For sure.
So it didn't really fit the rest of it, and that kind of took me out of it. So, spoiler alert, Floating, I'm going to go ahead and jump in front of you. I gave it a 6 out of 10. Chill song, it's mellow, it's repetitive, coasting, super repetitive on that. But I love the piano, but it's a mess song.
Alright, let me just say this. I was wrong. I actually like this song less than Beautiful. But let me talk about it. So, track 10, Floating. Because it's a female voice, leaves him in the state, and we're presented with Abstract's journey through space as he's floating in the space inside of his mind. I love the instrumentation in the beginning when we're introduced to it. Soft piano with an array of drums coexist well to create this atmospheric track. However, around the 2-minute mark, there's a beat switch and a drum break that I wasn't feeling at all. It was really out of place, and the switch up of how the lyrics were omitted, I disliked as well. Just a really weird switch up.
It's a weird song.
But then we're met with the original beat and a synth introduction that leads us out on the track nicely. I did really like the lyrics on the track, and the mixing was nice. It was very playful, I would say. if I'm talking mixing wise. But yeah, like I said, I just like this one a little bit more than Beautiful. I give this one a 5 out of 10.
Floating, catchy, it's chill, it's just a mellow song. Doesn't fit the rest of the album. That's all I gotta say about it.
All right, track 11.
Then we jump back into it. Now we're getting back into it. Superposition.
Yeah.
Or superposition.
Superposition.
Superposition. I can't speak English.
Track 11, Superposition. The digitally immersed vitality exercise is now 52% complete. The skit in the beginning is a modulated abstract speaking to the original abstract in a quantum superposition state. Brennan, do you know what that means?
It means he was talking to basically his inner demon.
Basically. This is a form of his conscience personified. The side of abstract that's basically making him question everything going on at that moment and to not just sit there passively. To me, it was a very clever concept and name for the record. This beat very much bangs. The distorted bass and reverse keys sound nice on this one. The first verse didn't do much lyrically for me, but abstract goes on to explain what's going on at this moment in the second verse. Way better. Abstract asks his superposition self what exactly is his end goal, and we're led to believe this form of abstract is officially taking over as we get to the chorus again. I like the song. It wasn't one of my favorites, though. I gave this one a 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10, really?
Yeah, it's just replayability. I don't think I'd go back and intentionally listen to this one. I still really liked it, though. I might bump it up to a 7 out of 10. I might bump it up in that range.
All right, because I disagree. This is super replayable. I've listened to this.
Well, you like that bang stuff.
I like that bang stuff, exactly. I like the aggressiveness. This comes back. Now we're back on track. I get a Eminem vibe from this, with Guilty Conscience. It's a good intro. It goes with the concept. He's talking to his inner demon, as Corbin stated earlier. He's basically asking himself what he would be if his inner demon didn't exist, which is basically his past self. And he's come to realize he's grown as an artist, that he hasn't always used his lyrics for good.
Yeah.
So he's in that position, and that's what his quote unquote inner demon is the one side that didn't always use his platform for good. So I like the song a lot, actually.
That's a good interpretation, actually. I didn't honestly think of that. I thought it was just... Well, I'll get more into what I thought about it in the next song.
Yeah, well, yeah, it kind of ties all together.
Not really. There's one more song that ties the rest of it off.
Yeah, vibed hardcore with it. It was a hype beat. And like I said, I like the aggressive stuff, so I enjoyed it a lot. I gave this one a 9 out of 10.
Nice. Well, I'm glad you liked it. Like I said, I liked it. The replayability, that's a big factor to me,
It's not on repeat on your playlist, I understand.
Yeah, okay. Next song, track 12, RBY.
For me, I needed the next song. I'll let you go first, but I needed that next song because I was so lost.
Okay, so track 12, RBY, Red, Blue, Yellow. What does it stand for? Though you could probably guess. We'll learn more on this later, but for now, simply put, they're abstracts, quote-unquote, true colors. This, I believe, is a continuation of superposition. I mean, it's kind of obvious. This is that state taking over, showing its true colors. This fun instrumental with that wavy bass builds a good foundation for abstract to talk that talk on this one, and he gives us some damn bars, son. And his flow is dope on this beat. Very clever lyricism on this one. I especially love the line, alleviate the tension with the flex. I thought that was just that was a bar right there. And the song is short and sweet, and I dug this. I just dug it. I really like this one. I gave this one a 9 out of 10.
All right.
Thoughts?
So, Red, Blue, Yellow. It was definitely a mood
Red,
song.
Blue, Yellow.
Like Corbin said, it was basically about his true colors. Wasn't the biggest fan of it when I heard it, but after the next song, it all made sense. So I gave it, originally after one run through of the album, I gave it a 6 out of 10. And then after I heard the next song, I'm going to go ahead and bump this up to an 8 out of 10 because I actually understand it now.
Nice. Because of my explanation?
No, because of the next song. Jump into it.
Okay. I was just kidding. I knew what you meant. Track 13. I want to say Rarefied Rationale or Rarefied Rationale. I'm not sure. I don't know exactly what the title means, and I looked it up, and I still don't know what it means. But on this track, Abstract fights back against his superposition self and provides another narrative to who this being is. Yes, it's a part of Abstract's conscience, but could it be his ego too? Abstract starts off by talking to the other half, saying it's nothing more than a parasite. Then he goes on a lyrical assault against this being and actually ends up killing it, quote unquote.
Killing himself.
But before its completed defeat, the superposition person says that he'll always be there. Abstract will never fully be rid of it. The instrumental bangs on this one too. The lyrical content is good, full of witty lines and gets your head knocking. The drum patterns are nice on this beat. And at the very end, the AI makes her presence again, saying, sorry for the delay. And Abstract says what he just went through in the last 3 songs. And I thought it was a fun concept. It was cool to see these 3 songs go to this storyline. Mm-hmm. And I gave this one a 7 out of 10. I dug it. What about you?
I like the song. It's about living for a dream and dying before becoming something you're not. So kind of like in The Dark Knight, you either die the hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. That's kind of what I took away from this.
Yeah, that's a good interpretation too.
Yeah, he says it's amazing all you can do introducing thoughts, which I really like that a lot. Basically what he's saying is like to basically change the path that you're going in, all you have to do is introduce a thought and people will eat that up. He's using his anger in this song against his inner demon. I like that a lot. Like the aggressiveness that he hits with it, especially the lyrical assault that he lays down on him, like Corbin stated earlier. Basically just calling him negative and disrespectful, and the ending cracked me up when the AI comes back and is like, sorry, like, how you doing? And he's like, I'm very uncomfortable, and I just basically killed myself. And she's like, what are you talking about? It was a good ending, good song all around. I gave it an 8 out of 10.
A
good tie-in. Good. It's a good tie-in with the other 2 songs before.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Okay. Track 14, Darkest Place. Here we get to my favorite part of the album, and it's a string of songs that flow together so nicely. And it starts off with this one. And here the AI wants Abstract to elaborate on what he meant when he spoke on a form of destruction that helped build him up. And Abstract then goes on to discuss the power in which the words he writes holds. Instrumentation-wise, the sporadic piano playing behind the chord piano progression in the beginning really caught my attention. It was luscious and sweet, but disappears during the verses to give depth to the beat. And I absolutely love this instrumental, like, so good. The build throughout the verses and how the singer on the hook was in tune with the piano, just perfect in my opinion. Also, I thought that chorus was beautiful. Everything fits here and deserves this 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
What about you, Brennan?
I'm right there with you on the beat. You know, I'm a sucker for piano. Basically,
hell yeah.
I have the same thing that you said. He's talking about how his words have a heavy impact and how he realizes that now. And interesting enough, he brings up the light and dark concept that rappers like to talk about a lot, especially recently for some reason. I'm seeing kind of a trend in that. Do you feel that?
Yes. Yeah. The contrast. Yes.
Yeah. So he talks about that, but then he talks about how this. He speaks of fire and turning it into the light, and how I basically correlated that back into it was that he's talking about turning his rage into his music, into letting other people know that they're not alone out there and that somebody else went through something similar. That's why I like it so much, is that it's relatable. And, you know, I'm a sucker for piano. I'm a sucker for relatable lyrics and the story behind it. So he's talking about giving back to the world in his form of music. So I gave this a well-deserved 8 out of 10.
Yeah, again, the instrumentation was just so perfect for me.
Although I will say it kind of started getting a little repetitive, but it was not enough for me to just dwell on it. So that's where I'm at with that.
Fair enough. All right. Track 15, the title track, Superhuman. Here we get gentle guitar soaked in what we call ping pong delay. It bounces back and forth between the left and the right headphone. And I think it builds the atmosphere pretty well. This beat is complex, but is also made to sound simple. The drum beat comes in gently, then proceeds to build incredibly well. The words in the first verse depicts a younger Abstract with the intention in mind to save the world. I love the detail he provides in this verse. He trades out his rapping style for singing, and he pulls it off pretty well in my opinion. The chorus is lush and builds with a filtered bass synth. At least that's what it sounded like for me. Abstract says he's no superhero, he's just superhuman, and meaning he's no more different than you. Then after the chorus, we get a nice beat break that's traded with an intrinsic guitar break. In the second verse, we get an older version of Abstract that understands the realism of this concept, and to me, this was a great song. It was a little short, but that's okay with me, and I give this one a 9 out of 10. Where are you at, Brennan?
Great lyrics, simple beat, but overall a great song. Enjoyed the guitar. The message was pretty straightforward. What I got out of it was that he was basically talking about people who are heroes that don't wear capes.
Yes.
So, he was more talking about himself in that aspect as a superhuman, like Corbin stated. But overall, I enjoyed it. Really liked the guitar on this one. I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, it was really good. I thought it was super soothing too. Like the guitar and the singing, it was just like it's a vibe track totally, and great detail on it. Okay, track 16. We are 16 in now. Okay, this next song is incredible in my opinion. It's called Nature versus Nurture, and a buried sample opens up this incredible song, then it's met with piano and a great beat. I really dug the panning in the mix and felt like every property in the beat was where it was supposed to be. The mixing on the song was great to me. What I took away from this record is that Abstract was adopted and never really got to meet his real parents. He leads off the verse saying that before I saw the light, I was grown. And ask the question, is it cowardly to give up a kid if you don't have the proper means to take care of it, or is it selfless? Abstract says he's not angry with his real parents for giving him away, and this is just a very powerful record. My favorite lines are, I don't know whose blood is in mine, that's fine by me, I guess I'll decide. And as far as I'm concerned, family ain't always blood, 'cause the ones who raised me did it out of love. Those are just powerful lines to me, and this record's honestly filled with them. And I really love this track. Really great and unique name for the concept. At the end of the song, the AI can relate with Abstract, commenting on the fact that he uses music to navigate his self-understanding, and asks the question, do you still feel a sense of abandonment? And Abstract says yes, but not for the reason you think. And this track definitely gets a 10 out of 10 for me. I loved it so much. What are your thoughts, Brennan?
I like the name alone. Thought that was very creative. Nature versus nurture. There's one part of this song where it does like a 360 around the headphones. That was cool. Yeah. I like that a lot.
And away we go. Yeah, that was really dope.
Talks about family not always being blood. And, we can relate to that. Overall, I like this song. It was good, great message, and I like that he basically saying that he's okay with who he is and he doesn't need to find out who his real parents are because all he knows is the people that raised him are his real parents.
Yeah.
So I give this one, big shocker here, another 8 out of 10.
I thought this fit well with the concept too, especially with the AI asking, do you feel that abandonment? And man, this is really good.
I felt like it went very well with the AI. Basically the AI is saying that she feels the same way and understands like where he's coming from, and like they connect on that level because the whole purpose of her picking up a human was to find out what we're all about.
Yeah, to understand it and find its purpose through our purpose, basically.
And then coming to find out that it's basically the same.
Pretty fantastic concept so far.
This concept goes deep too, which is what I like about it.
Yeah. Moving on to track 17.
Good luck with that
Brennan,
one.
go ahead and try to pronounce this one.
All right. Got me. I believe it's called Interroga Omnia.
Yeah. Well, that sounds fair enough. I honestly couldn't tell you any different. Now here's a shocker, Brennan. This is probably going to shock you.
Hit me with it.
This is by far my favorite production on the whole record. The chime-like intro met with a deep bass and a reversed violin note, I think. And it really provides an easy passage for that drum beat that comes in. And normally I don't care for overly sporadic hi-hats, but I thought the panning from left to right made it very tolerable. And though I love the instrumental, I'm not sure why the song is here in the track list. I didn't pick up on the concept no matter how many times I listened, so please someone explain it to me. if you're listening and you picked up your interpretation, or Brennan, you can explain to me yours when I'm done with this real quick. But with that being said, the lyrics are still very meaningful due to the heaven reference. I believe he's talking to someone who has passed on. I'm not sure. I still love this song. We get a rap portion and a fantastic singing outro on this on the second verse. I thought this sounded really nice. Then we get a gorgeous send-off of the song with different forms of string instruments playing with a fade out. It was beautiful. One of my favorite songs sonically and lyrically. At the end, the AI wants to offer advice, telling Abstract to look in, not out on the next dive. And big shocker, but I end this song with a 10 out of 10. My only issue, but I'm not faulting this song as a whole because of this. It's just I'm just grading this song as a single entity. But I didn't really see where this fit within the track, like within the concept of the whole overarching story, And I might be missing something. That's totally true. I might just be so focused on how gorgeous the instrumental is. That's fair. But, Brennan, what did you take away from this?
So what I took away from it was that I like this song a lot. The beat, surprisingly...
was, I like the song a lot.
Yeah, for 100%, dude.
Yeah, for real.
The beat reminded me of NF. I don't know if you felt that, but this song is on replay in my playlist. I enjoyed it a lot. The lyrics, they were relatable. Again, he ties back into relatable stuff, and I'm a sucker for that. Like I always say, I love that kind of stuff. That time I could put myself in his shoes, and basically, it's like the song is revolving around me because like I've been in that same position. What I took away from this song is he's talking about loss. He's coping with it. At first, I thought it was more like an ex-girlfriend or something.
Yeah, but then that heaven line dropped.
Yeah, then the heaven line drops, and you kind of realize that he kind of lost somebody. And I interpret this as this is just like his portion. He's saying this, and the AI lost their home.
Right.
So it's kind of combining it together. That's how I put it, like together on this track. The guitar was nice touch at the end.
For sure. That lead out was so gorgeous. I really like that. I honestly, I have just skipped to that portion just so I can hear it again.
So there's one part of this song that I really like about it, which is basically when he's saying that like he has to basically smoke to just like calm down, like to just stay calm. And
everyone up to calm down, I think was the line.
Yeah, and I just really like this song. Like I said, it's on repeat. I give this one a 9 out of 10. Right there next to Shot Down, in my opinion.
Fair enough. So far, these last songs are getting a lot of praises. Like, I feel like, yeah, anyway, we'll talk more on that later. Track 18, Brennan, we're getting to the end of this album.
All right, yeah, you go ahead and say that, because...
The track Volition.
Volition.
That's the title. Volition. The sampling done behind the piano playing was so pleasing to my ears to start off the bat. The synth overtop that comes in after 4 bars really builds the intro. And this beat was very experimental, but I really enjoyed it. The whole mix was just perfect. The beat break for the second verse really made the words stand out right when they needed to, and it was so nice. As far as the lyrics go, this song is titled Volition, and we're constantly told dark or light. And volition is the power of choosing or determining. So he asks, dark or light? And you have the power to choose. You have the power to overcome the most difficult times and eventually find your purpose, tying in the whole point of the AI's intentions. I didn't mind that the chorus was a little repetitive, especially because he switched the tone of his voice. I really love the lyrics on this song, especially the line, when all you know is not enough, we fill the hole with what's good enough. I thought that was pretty clever.
I agree.
Abstract ends with a verse imploring the audience to see that there is a reason you're here on this earth. Find that purpose. Everyone has one. A really perfect ending to this whole story, and I really like the song. Beautiful strings lead us out on the end of it, and again, another 10 out of 10. Where you at, Brennan?
There was a very deep opening in this song when he talks about the sun revolving around us and how people...
Yeah, how human that is to think that.
How human that is to think that.
That was so clever.
Really, yeah, I enjoyed that a lot. As soon as I heard that, I was like, I already know I'm going to like this song.
Yeah, this is another song full of quotables again.
Mm-hmm. And, again, he touches base about talking about dark and light. But you know what I liked about this track, Corbin? You want to know why I give this track a 9 out of 10?
Tell me why.
Because it was very positive.
Yeah.
It was probably one of the most positive, uplifting songs I've heard in a long time. And it was a good change in pace from the usual boo-hoo me, which we're going to get into in a different album review.
Oh, yeah,
Don't worry,
yeah.
we got you guys covered.
Save that.
But, yeah, deserves a well-deserved 9 out of 10. Really enjoyed this. I love this album, actually.
This is, what this is making me sound like I do? This album is making me sound like I just hand out 10s.
Yeah, it is.
No, I don't hand out 10s like that. That's just how much I really like this album. Like Lupe Fiasco's album last week. Man, there's 10s all over that project. Everything else we covered last week probably never even got anywhere near a 10. Anyways, last song, track 19, titled Landing. So we started off with Takeoff, now we're on Landing. On the outro, it's basically just a long skit tying the whole experience together. The AI understands that it's no more different than Abstract, and the AI mentions that it understands what he creates helps people. And it thinks that maybe it can create a beautiful light in the darkness for its reality.
And let's talk about the universe in that too.
Yeah, and the AI wants to construct a new world. Instead of Moon 51, they want to call it Moon 52 for its people, which is obviously referencing the book that Abstract was reading at the beginning of the album. And the AI thanks Abstract for the experience, and they separate. Now here, this is where I kind of wish the story ended. We're met with another minute where Abstract realizes that he's still a part of the AI in some form or fashion. It ends before we find out, exactly why. A part of me just kind of wishes it ends before that. I don't know. How'd you feel, Brennan? How'd you feel about that?
I thought this had a funny start. It perceived the deepest dive, and it touched base on the primary colors, which is why they talked about red, blue, and yellow.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, the main purpose of this was to say that everything you are is a mixture. You can't always just be like a primary because it just wouldn't work. Like everything you do mixes the colors together.
Right.
It was a great story, a fantastic tie-in to Red, Blue, Yellow song, which again, I didn't like at first.
Adding more validity to that.
Yeah, I didn't like that song at first, and then like you got to the end of the song and you're like, that you gotta go back and re-listen to that song and it'll make way more sense. I promise you.
Right. Which I loved how he gives you, or he basically makes you have to re-listen so you catch everything if you care enough, you know?
Yeah. And it's basically saying that time is not your enemy, time is opportunity. And I agree with that strongly. And I very much appreciated the twist ending. Loved it. It was a shock, honestly, but you know, if you think about it, they foreshadowed it throughout most of it. Like even when his inner demon's like, you think you are gonna get rid of me, but you'll never be rid of me.
Yeah, you think I'm not a part of you anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't know. I just kind of like that sweet ending where they just kind of part ways and then just call it good. But I guess this is leading into maybe another album?
I don't know. I liked it. It was a great ending. If I had to rate this, which wasn't really a song, it was
I didn't
just
even
like
rate this one,
ending.
to be honest.
Would have gave it a 10 out of 10 just because it was a good conclusion to the concept.
I think I'd give it like a 9 out of 10. In my opinion, I believe this album was more so a self-discovery story than a sci-fi. But other than that, this was a lovely story, a really great concept and experience for me. And overall, this album, like I said, it was beautiful. You can really tell that he took his time with this one. Like the 2 years really did go into this, and it proves itself. I give the project a 9.5 out of 10 as a whole. And I only give it a 9.5 out of 10 because I wasn't feeling parts of some of the songs, but never disliked the song fully. Some songs carry a heavy weight, and I love that about them. Where you at, Brennan?
I'm right there with you. I also gave this album a full 9.5 out of 10. What would have gave this one a 10 was if I would have liked Father Time, Beautiful, and Floating. They just didn't belong on this album, if you ask me, and that's why it didn't fully reach the 10 mark. But very close. I enjoyed this album a lot. Definitely have it on repeat. It's one of my favorites in a long time.
I found myself going back quite often too.
It was even in my Discover Week, or not my release radar, and I just let it play. I didn't even skip over it.
So there's our thoughts on Abstract Superhuman. Please go give that a listen.
Especially if you guys like concept albums.
I think if you like music, you should give it a listen. It dips its toe in a lot of different genres, I feel.
Don't look at it as music. Look at it as a story.
As an experience. How about that?
There you go.
Yeah. Like watching a movie. Okay.
Time
all right,
to
Brennan.
Switch gears, buddy.
Brockhampton, Iridescence. I love the title of this album, by the way. That's pretty dope. Okay, so Brockhampton is a self-described boy band collective made up of members Kevin Abstract, Matt Champion, Merlin Wood, Dom McLennan, Joba, I think it's Joba, and Bareface. And we're going to start off with song number 1, New Orleans. The beat is so nasty, and I liked it. I personally wouldn't flow over a beat like this, but it's cool to see how others would treat it. The lyrics were good throughout, I thought, but I couldn't stand the verse from Joba, like his nasally, oh man, ugh. I don't mind a little inflection, but purposely making your voice sound weird just to be weird didn't really do it for me. It's a crazy bumpy track, and I give this boy a 6.5 out of 10. Where you at, Brennan?
Yeah.
I already know how you feel about this one.
Yikes. You should give the audience a little heads up. I texted Corbin after this. I was like, what was that? New Orleans, the lyrics were dope. I actually really enjoyed them. There was that buzzing on the beat.
Yes, I will give that to you. There was an annoying buzzing on this track, and I I was like, why? Why?
And I'm gonna leave my notes. I'm gonna interpret my notes the best I can because of how vulgar it gets. I really did not like the beat at all, and the buzzing just took me out of the song so hardcore. I have it numerous times. I say, "Please stop, Jesus." This buzzing is getting louder. I swear. Didn't care for the higher pitched singer. I don't know which one that is.
That was Joba or Jabba, whatever. I'm just gonna call him Jabba.
Jabba?
No. I think it's Joba. I'm gonna call him Joba.
Joba, whatever. Didn't care for his portion of the song. Was not needed.
No, that part was like I was ready to turn the album off. I was like, is this how it's gonna be the entire time? But I'm kind of glad I gave it more, the entire album I listened.
You get past his part, you get past the beat, and the lyrics are there, and that's what I like about it. Like you guys know, I'm the lyric guy. It was there. I give it a 7 out of 10. But if you put that buzzing in another song, I'm literally going to choke somebody.
I like how you talk more crap about it, but you rated it higher than me.
It's lyrics, bumpy. Dude, they came out, and the guy came out swinging with those bars. So I give him credit where credit's due, but whoever created that beat can stop.
I think Dom McLennan did his thing on that. Okay, song 2, Thug Life. I loved how the drum beat carried over into this song from New Orleans, with some soft piano contributing to the track now. The singing on this track, though minimal, was pretty damn nice in my opinion. Very calming. Bareface starts off the rapping portion with a few lines taken from the previous song, and a pitch shift added, which is all over this project, by the way. Pitch shifting is just everywhere. Don McLennan finishes off the track with a great verse, in my opinion, even though it's modulated all to hell.
Yeah.
He says in it, depression, still an uninvited guest, I'm always accepting. And that vulnerable line was very nice to hear, especially in a song like this. And I wish the song was a verse longer, but I gave it a 9 out of 10. Where you at?
You already know where I'm at, Corbin. Did not like this song at all. You like the continuation. I was confused. I was like, when did the first song end? I looked at my phone and saw that it changed, and I was like, I had to re-listen to it because I didn't know when the first song ended. My favorite part about this song was the piano. I didn't understand why they alienified the dude's voice. Like you said, they modulated it. That took me way out of it. Was not necessary at all. I gave this song a 4 out of 10. Did not care for it at all.
Did you at least like the piano?
I said that. I said I like the piano. I said I love the piano, but why did they alienify the dude's voice? It's literally written in my notes.
Alright, at least the piano was noticed. Alright, track 3, Berlin. My initial thoughts were, I don't like this beat at all. It's too hectic, too distorted, and kind of frustratingly annoying. Plus, I really don't like the chorus. Dom and Matt's mini verses were cool. Again, nice to see what other artists do over very experimental production. But then Dom appears again to deliver a very nice verse with a beat breakdown. I could hear every word, and I just really liked his rhyming style. Kevin Abstract and Sammy Joe followed Dom with a nice pre-chorus. The auto-tune was used very well, in my opinion, and Joba's verse at the end was way more tolerable on this track. Then the track decides to have a very distorted and very, very, very obnoxious end. I don't know where that came from or why they thought that was necessary, but that took me way out of it and dropped that down at least 2 scores, so I gave that like a 5 out of 10. Where you at with it, Brennan?
I thought it was a banger. I love the rapping.
Are we seriously going to be light and day all over this freaking track? Or all over this album?
Let me finish. Because I love the rapping. And that's what I was going off of, is it hits hard with the rapping. I get like a slow-mo walking action film scene from the chorus. You get that? You know what I'm saying? And listen, dude, I literally had to put this in my mind to get through this album, right? I was not a fan of the peaking bass noise, and they need to keep the effects off the vocals. I thought good lyrics, unnecessary effects on those vocals, though. And I was not a fan of, this is what I wrote down in my notes, by the way, was not a fan of the beat of the car with the bass blowing out the speakers at the background. That's the portion that Cora was talking about at the end.
Oh, I don't know why they thought that would sound cool.
Yeah, that was... It literally sounds like a car that pulls up next to you that you can... You know they're listening to something, but you can't tell the lyrics because the car is literally shaking and you think that the windows are about to shatter and then shatter your windows. That's what I got out of that one.
All right.
I gave it a 6 out of 10.
That's the same. That's the same thing I gave it. Okay, I want to know your thoughts about something about him.
You really want me to go first?
Yep.
Literally all I got out of something about him. The beat is mellow and the lyrics suck. I gave it a 3 out of 10.
Jeez. All right, let me dive a little bit deeper.
Please do.
Since some of us actually care. The instrumental is very playful and upbeat. The vocoder and pitch shifting done throughout the track on Kevin Abstract's voice made a rather fun listen. It added something to the overall basic and repetitive lyrics. But that being said, I didn't mind the song. I give it like a 6 out of 10. All right, moving on. Song 5. Where the cash at? There's a wave sound in the mix of the instrumental that speeds up and slows down. I like that being the foundation of this track. The beat was very bumpy. I kind of enjoyed its vibe, but praises end right there for me. Did not like anything about the lyrics. No replayability for me. This song was trash on that aspect. 3 out of 10.
I'm kind of almost right there with you. I said it was a hype beat. It's more of a party song, something that you would hear at a club. I might listen to it when I work out, but other than that, there's really no replayability value to me. So I gave it a 6 out of 10. Might work out to it.
6 out of 10. Light work.
Light work.
You gave it way more than I did. All right. Track 6. Wait. Wow, this is definitely a change of pace. The light piano creates a fantastic landscape for the vulnerableness exhibited in each verse by rappers Kevin Abstract, Joba, and Mac Lennon. The strings play the background so nicely. I love the instrumental, and I do like when the beat picks up. Experimental done right, in my opinion. I love when artists, especially a part of a collective, are able to remind their listeners they're human, as corny as that sounds. They go through a lot of the stress and struggles as, just as being an artist. Kevin speaks on this when saying, I really miss the old days before the cosigns, and Dom speaks on love and tribulations that follow it. I give this one an 8 out of 10.
I said, great beat, but the rhymes were pretty basic. Nothing too crazy. Not a bad thing. It's just that they were basic.
Yeah, simple rhymes can be very deep sometimes.
Yeah, so it was the best song so far. Fast-paced beat felt kind of like misplaced. I know you just said you liked it, but for me it kind of came out of nowhere. I had to check to make sure it was the same song because of Thug Life.
Thug Life really scarred you, huh?
Yeah, I had to make sure it was the same song, but it definitely came back down from the sped up beat and came back down to the mellow piano, which was nice, and I like that a lot. Like you said, it was very experimental there. Great lyrics, but they were basic rhymes. Not bad. I like the ending though. I gave this one an 8 out of 10.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not just ruthless on this album, guys. Like, I actually listen to this stuff. It's just when it vibes with you, it vibes with you, and when it doesn't, it doesn't.
All right, track 7, District. The eerie strings at the beginning are nice and fit the pitch shifted vocals that we again hear. But then it quickly erupts into synth-heavy, distorted production that I was not feeling. The song was hectic and creatively all over the frickin' place, but with that being said, I really like Dom and Matt's verses. The lyrics won me over on this one. There's a beat strip down that is quickly added before the end that I rather enjoyed. I also enjoyed the singing that ended the track out, but I'm only at like a 4 out of 10 for this. Where you at, Brennan?
I did not like the beat on this one at all. Sounds like somebody was slamming an oven door repeatedly.
You know, they probably sampled that and just threw a pitch shifter on it, because that seems to be what they like to do. So
Yeah, I said it reminds me of some of the old emo songs I used to listen to in middle school. The rapping portion is pretty good, but the beat was very distracting. So it kind of took away from that, which is kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
I don't like the depressed part.
Oh, was that... yeah, I was about to say the artist's name, but I don't think you would know.
No, I don't know, but once again, I'm not a fan of Joba, I think it was.
Yeah,
the higher-pitched artist on this track.
Which, you won't recognize him in other areas because he's not doing this weird vocal inflection
It just
thing.
doesn't fit, so I gave this one a 5 out of 10.
Well, I mean, you were...
I met it halfway, is what I did.
All right, Loophole. It's just a short skip of an interview. The string work in the background was really nice and gorgeous. Good message, but I gave it like a 5 out of 10. It's just a skit. It's just a skit.
Oh, Corbin, I love me some skits. So I said it was an interesting story, and I enjoyed it. I gave it a 9 out of 10.
What a loophole.
No, I actually really liked it. It was a
good message, but it's just like,
didn't
why?
really fit here. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
But
why?
I liked it. Like, it doesn't fit on that. Like, alright, so I like it. Like, if I took it out and put it as a single, I give it a 9 out of 10. But, like, on the track, it has no value to the rest of the track. So I kind of give it, like, a 2 out of 10 for being on the track. Or album.
Fair enough.
But I liked it. I thought it had a good message to it.
All right, track 9, Tape. Another vulnerable and open track. The drum patterns and the beat is a bit jumbled, but when those are stripped away, a nice string set comes through. I really love the lyrics all over this track. The brutal, honest lyrics match the beat, in my opinion. The verses from Kevin, Joba, who's actually in this, Matt and Dom during this song. Matt Champion stole the show. The amazing ending where the strings come into full force led this track out beautifully. 8 out of 10 for me. Where you at with it, Brennan?
Well, right off the bat, this is different for me, but I love the strings, and that was one of my favorite parts of this song. The raps
How's that different, though?
Well, usually I go off the lyrics, but like right away, strings that I was feeling it. The raps were all right. One of the better songs on the album. Beat kind of gets weird, but I felt it was relatable with the tragedy line. And overall, I like the song. I gave it an 8 out of 10. It's not one that I would visit often, but if it came on, I wouldn't skip it. It was pretty good.
All right, next song, track 10. Jay Uvert, I'm going to just assume is how you pronounce it. This beat is not for me. I will say it does allow the artist to flow over it nicely, though. Joba on here honestly reminded me of Hollywood Undead with his shouting rap style. I feel like the bass is too intrusive during the verses, making it very hard to understand what the people are actually saying. The words were just okay. I looked up the lyrics. Joba stole the show for me. Definitely, he held my attention. With the beat being what holds a song together, I wished I liked it more. So I give this one like a 3 out of 10.
I got a sci-fi vibe out of this track at first. I like the rap. I'm an aggressive rap fan, so that's what did it for me. Hype song. And then all of a sudden it takes this weird Hispanic or Jamaican turn. And I like the aggressive half better. This beat again is, there's the buzzing returns. And...
Not the buzzing.
Like you already mentioned it. I have it right here. It says it kind of drains out the lyrics. And I didn't know if that was just me or my cheap headphones. But... literally, it drained out the lyrics where it was very hard to hear them.
The compression was horrible on those.
but I did like the lyric aspect itself, but I felt the female that was on this track did not have to be in it. I gave it a 4 out of 10.
That wasn't a female, by the way.
Yikes.
That was a pitch-shifted vocal.
All right, well, now I feel bad.
Of a male artist, which is all over this freaking album, by the way, Brennan. Track 11, Honey. This instrumental almost sounds electronically oriented, which was nice to see, but again, it's just not for me. I honestly wasn't feeling a majority of this track instrumentally or lyrically. The only verse I messed with was Dom's. He says, "My people still dry snitching whenever they touch the mic. That's what happens when a therapist isn't somewhere in sight." And I really like that line. I thought it was pretty clever. However, I said I didn't like the instrumentation for a majority of the track, but at the end, there's a beat change with a sampling and a police siren added, and this is the type of production I wish covered the whole track. I love the change / breakdown very much. Great end of the track, at least 6 out of 10.
It's a club beat, but it's normal. I don't understand the quote homeless unquote auto-tune, and the rapping is great. The beat's bumping. I would listen to it again. I didn't really like the end where it tries to get like R&B. I felt. Did you feel
Which
that?
is different from me because I actually like that.
I'm very much like, if you're doing something with the song, stick with that thing, not like a major shift. I know you like the experimental aspect. I'm more like, it kind of takes me out of the moment, so I gave this a 7 out of 10. It wasn't that distracting, but it definitely deterred it from getting a higher score.
Gotcha. That's fair enough. All right. You ready to move on?
Vivid.
Track 12, Vivid. Very dirty production, but I found this track to be very strong lyrically. I find Matt and Dom to play off each other very well, like throughout the album. The way that Matt comes in and flows reminded me of Kendrick, honestly. He did a great job, but I could honestly say that's the same case for Dom. Great verses, great lyrical content, great flows, fits the production very well. The instrumentation has its strengths, admittedly, but it wasn't my favorite. 7 out of 10.
Yeah, it was a weird start. Again, it was bumping, though. Something for, like, a club. The lyrics were okay. Basic, but good. One of the rappers on it actually reminds me of 6ix9ine. So there's that. Again, does not need the pitch change.
Yeah, it's pitch shifting. It's just all over the place.
Yeah, doesn't need that.
It's not pitch correction. They're actually shifting the decibel of the voice.
Yeah, it just wasn't necessary on this track. And
or the octave of the voice, if you will.
Yeah, and I didn't like the ending, so I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Fair enough. I feel like we're getting back to being more closer with how we feel about these songs. All right, track 13, San Marcos. Matt Champion starts off this record with some decent singing, actually. I understand the effects carry the vocals, but it sounded pretty nice. I absolutely love the way the guitar is introduced. Sonically, this track is incredible. I love the soft production, the drum patterns, the guitar, the strings. It's very beautiful. The words are fantastic as well. In verse 1, Matt is questioning whether his collective is there for the same reasons he is. Kevin provides a nice bridge, Bareface provides a nice chorus, and then Dom comes through with a family-oriented verse saying, "Circle tighter than the Castro, they feed in you Castrol. You think that it's gas, you turn the key, it's a fiasco. Could be stronger than vibranium, didn't mean that, ain't fragile." What he's doing is showcasing how family keeps his life from erupting and breaking beyond repair. Also, those Castrol and Castrol lines were pretty clever. Joba uses his verse to describe his certain issues. A verse full of admittance. I really love these verses. The ending was a contribution effort with a London gospel church that ends the track with a incredible choir presence as they simply chant, "I want more out of life than this." I thought the song was incredible. I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, the only negative thing I have to say about this track is I didn't care for the intro. It's a slow start, but the guitar is great in it. The background singers are great. The rhymes are pretty good. It's not bad. It's one of the better ones on this album. I give it a 7 out of 10.
All right, track 14, Tonya.
Tanya.
What'd you think of this one? I want to hear your thoughts first.
I love the piano start. Makes me feel like there's a change in the album so far. I like the song a lot. I like the beat change. I actually, like, it actually fits in, unlike the other ones to me. I know you said that you liked them, but the previous ones didn't really vibe with me, to put it.
Gotcha.
Not a fan of the dog barking in the background. It was kind of distracting. And one of the better ones, the lyrics are great. It's a good tie around to the start of the song.
Yeah.
At the end. So, I mean, overall, it's one of the better ones on this album. I liked it.
For sure.
I give it an 8 out of 10. Kind of curious to see what you have to say about it. See if this is a big difference in rating.
Okay, so piano intro. So you already have my attention. I'm a sucker for some piano. This song is a perfect way to show how the entire collective plays off each other. Another vulnerable piece, but very meaningful. The track is mostly piano, but during Kevin's verse, these drums come in and it just shook my car. They sounded so nice. I think all effects were stripped off of everyone's voices, mostly to showcase the raw emotion and the lines that are being said. I really love this track. Almost every member touched the mic for it, and I held on for every second, and I thought it was one of the best tracks on here too. I gave this one a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10, huh?
Yes.
It was one of the better ones. For sure. But moving on to Fabric.
Track 15, Fabric. I didn't like how the song started off, but quickly my opinion changed. Kevin starts off the verse, pitch shifted as always, but speaking some truth. Some realness in his life that he comes here to vent about. Dom comes after with effects stripped away from his vocals, and his verse is very personal, bringing up comparisons to Nikola Tesla by stating that a brilliant mind could be detriment when it comes to the music industry. The chorus sounds really nice with the beat breakdown, then Bareface comes through with a personal verse as well. I just wish the effects on his verse weren't there, because they're not needed.
Like,
around the halfway...
album?
Yeah. Around the halfway point, the beat starts to change and pick up. The piano becomes more apparent, and the wave-like sounds start to take over with a repetitive drum pattern. Though there's a nice singing over this part, I really wasn't a huge fan of it. I felt like it went on way too long. Not the best way the album could have ended, in my opinion, but at least I liked half of the song, right? So 5 out of 10. Where you at?
I like it for the relatable lyrics. The beat with the piano was great. Wasn't a fan of the whisper section. I thought that was kind of odd. It was a good song, though, in my opinion. 7 out of 10. And honestly, there's not much to go off of on this album. Not a big fan, to be totally honest. Yeah. Overall, I gave it a 6 out of 10. Not very replayable value for me.
That's over 5, though.
It's over 5, yeah. But a lot of the effects and frequency changes and pitch changes and all that stuff, it just was not needed on this album.
No, and that was just being experimental to be experimental.
Yeah, and I was just about to say, I understand that they were trying to be experimental, but like it took me out of this album so much, and there's so many times where the lyrics were just drowned out by something stupid, like the distracting buzzing or something like that it definitely reflects on the score. So
for sure.
What do you give it?
Overall, this album was the first time I dove completely into a Brockhampton album, and I was handed a mixed bag. I found that just over half of this album was an enjoyable listen, and the other portion was pretty hard to get through. The experimental sounds don't always do it for me, but I thought they fit the group's style pretty well. I feel like they're at their best during the most emotional and vulnerable tracks. It was an okay album, some replayability, but I'm ending the review at a 6.5 out of 10, so we were pretty close.
Pretty close. Mine, of course, was lower, though.
Sometimes I found some good in the beat, if it wasn't for the annoying words.
I want to tell you guys this. At one point, I was looking for good things to say about it. No, seriously.
Digging real deep, were you?
I was. Like I would replay a song and be like, I didn't like this song at all. And then like the one I gave a 3 out of 10, I forget what it's called. something about him or something like that.
Yeah.
That one, I listened to that song about 3 times and couldn't find something to like about it. At least I gave it a 3 out of 10 though. Just again, we bring it back to preference.
I don't see myself returning to this one very often,
absolutely
but
not.
hey, I saved like 6 songs out of the 15, so that's good, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
No. I saved 7 songs out of the 15.
Hey man, that's pretty good. That's almost half.
Yep. Great math skills here. It's late. It's really late.
You gonna save half a song?
Y'all ready for some depression?
You guys ready for drugs and pain and love?
Hey. I'm gonna bring that up during this review.
So am I.
Don't you worry. Phora's new album, Love Is Hell.
It just came out. This came out yesterday, didn't it? October 5th?
Yes. Yeah, it came out yesterday. I like Phora, alright? I loved his old stuff. His Angels with the Broken Wings, his With Love. Those albums are great. They're lyrically great. What the hell is this?
Don't get me wrong. I love me some Phora, dude.
Yeah, I go back and visit his old songs all the time.
Yeah, I'm actually a fan. Like, I would go to a Phora concert and support him. I would purchase a ticket and go see him perform. I like Phora. This album, I don't know what happened. It was repetitive.
It was repetitive, and I had to dig deep to find good in it. That sucks.
Let's start off with the first song, Corbin. Love Is Hell.
Alright, Love Is Hell, title track right off the bat. The eerie guitars are buried in the background, but builds the instrument well, in my opinion. The drums bang on this one. I like Phora's portion. His lyrics were more of the same stuff he's already said before, but in a new way, which is all over this album. The chorus is repetitive, but I thought it sounded nice at least. The concept is straightforward. They talk on why love is hell. I couldn't stand Trippy Red's part though. Oh my god. I didn't like anything about his verse. Too basic and screechy for me. And
I understand that. That's literally what I have here too.
Yeah, I gave this one a 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10. Holy crap. Wow. I said it's very much a feeling song. Basically, Phora's in his feelings like usual. Love Is Hell basically is for being over a girl, but not giving up on the relationship. That's what I took away from this.
I did like his line, I'd rather fight demons with you than be in heaven without you. I thought that was
it was clever.
Or be amongst angels without you. That was nice.
But listen, I feel like you can agree on this one. I said you have to be in a mood to enjoy this song.
Nah, if it gets that Trippy Red's part, I'm skipping it.
Really? I thought it was okay. I literally have Trippy Red was okay on this track. But it was a basic start. Like you said, literally it was a basic start. I gave it a 6 out of 10. Not the best way to start off your album.
No, I was already like, really? Because I knew this was a single before the album, but I stopped listening after the Field track came out like a few months ago. All right, track 2, Bust It Down. Numb this pain with these drugs, part 1. I've heard this line from Phora 1,000 times. He masters saying a whole lot without saying much at all here. I thought the bridge before the second chorus sounded nice with the layered vocals, but the words were boring as hell to me. The song being one verse and barely over 2 minutes, I'll consider this a filler track. The instrumental didn't do it much justice either. Just a basic sample with some simple drum patterns. Phora's voice did sound nice over this one though. I can say that. I give this one again a 4 out of 10.
Listen.
Listen. Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at Love Is Hell score. I gave this one a 3 out of 10.
Jesus. So basically what I wrote is that it's typical Phora. He's talking about drugs, love, and pain. I like the song, but Phora as a rapper is very repetitive in his messages. At one point, I was going to fast forward the song to see if it sounded the same. And then as I clicked to go fast forward it, I realized that the song was pretty much over already.
Yeah, I couldn't believe how short it was.
Came to the conclusion that it was just the same throughout. And I like the lyrics and I like the beat, but dude, it's the same message. There's nothing new here. I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Dang. All right. I feel like I'm in the minority then.
Dude, that's the thing though, is I like aggressive rap and I like sad rap.
Yeah, I do like some sad rap. You know what I'm saying?
Like when rappers get personal and they start speaking about depression and stuff, we all go through it. And to me, it's the point where sometimes you can relate and stuff, but never once have I ever been like, man, I'm really sad. It's time to shoot up now. You know what I mean? Or time to pop some pills.
I feel like if you're going to take on this subject matter, you got to provide some light, man.
Yeah, very much.
Just
it's always
a little,
negative.
just a glimpse, something. You can't just always be negative all the time. That stuff drives me crazy.
I'm going to get a little ahead of myself. There's a song in here that features G-Eazy, which we're going to get to. But G-Eazy even says the same line about drugs numbing the pain.
Yeah, I was gonna touch on that
so
too.
We'll touch on that later, but it's mind-boggling that you can just keep repeating the same message throughout an album and be like, this is something new. And it's like, It's not new. This is Phora. Like, this is what I expect when I put on this album. I literally expected nothing new, and it delivered. So moving on.
Track 3, Done Playing Nice. This chorus was a throwaway if I've ever heard one. Boring and repetitive, simple rhymes all over this record. He does touch on his come up during the verse, which I like to hear, but it's short-lived as we jump back into the chorus again. This song, again, is barely over 2 minutes and has one verse. I didn't like this song at all. A wacky instrumental is saved with the drum pattern that gives the track a bumpy feel, at least. But again, this feels like another filler/throwaway record. Very boring, 2 out of 10.
Jesus. I really like the beat. And I like the fact that he was switching it up. He wasn't really in his sad feelings. He actually got more into his kind of screw you feelings, which is what I like about it. It was definitely a switch up from the previous 2 songs. And he's very clear about it, which is what I like about it. It was short, though, like you already said. And I wish there was more, but it could have been better. I'd give it a 7 out of 10.
All right. You definitely liked that one way more than I did.
I'm sorry. I just read my notes on the next song. I'm just funny to myself. All right, go on.
All right. Track 4. For You. Honestly, I was surprised to see Tory Lanez and G-Eazy on this one. I don't know why, but I was surprised. The sample is very nice and fits the beat very well. We get a rolling snare to start the chorus off that I didn't like. I thought it was kind of odd for the instrumental. But again, boring lyrics. The chorus is repetitive as hell. Then Tory comes through with auto-tune filled lyrics, and I wasn't feeling it. He flowed nicely over the instrumental, though, I'll tell you that. He did sound pretty nice over it. Next. Oh, we get G-Eazy. And if you know me, you know I'm not the biggest fan of G-Eazy. And again, he comes through with a very corny verse. I mean, he says the line, "Time to leave here like you put your shoes on." Really? Do you put any time into your lyrics at all? Numb the pain, take drugs, again? How many times are we going to hear that? Phora just does the chorus on this one, which I thought was kind of odd. The bouncy beat didn't do this one much justice either. I give this one, again, 2 out of 10.
2 out of 10?
Yep.
Wow.
Throwaway. Oh boy.
So Phora starts off the song very repetitive. Very repetitively.
Sorry.
I like the lyrics. It reminds me of a past relationship and Lane's verse. So I felt some connection there. It was a chill song for sure. I wish Phora would do more aggressive stuff. He's very much in his feelings, like usual. And I like his anger side more than his woo-hoo, boo me. I mean, we actually went back and forth on this, and we had to look up the lyrics, but if you're not really paying attention, it sounds like G-Eazy drops the N-word, which he doesn't.
No, I went through, I went through and made sure.
The way he says it, I think it's like in and gets. And it gets.
And that gets pretty close to... He just doesn't really provide enough time or enough diction to sound the words out.
It's so slurred, dude. Like, I replayed it. I showed it to, like, 3 other people. They thought he said it. I thought he said it. We dove into it. We looked up the lyrics. Corbin listened to it numerous times. And he does not say it, but it sounds like he does. And I think that's kind of lazy on the production end to not try to fix that.
Well, on that end, they would just have to make him, punch in around that time and try to sound that out more, like open your mouth more.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like it basically like it should have been caught. Is what I'm saying, because it's very close.
Hey man, sometimes things just pass through. It happens, but yeah.
But like I said, it was pretty basic lyrics. This is the part I was laughing about earlier, as drugs to numb the pain of love. I was gonna give this song a 7 out of 10, but that pissed me off, and so I give it a 6 out of 10. I dropped it down a full rating because they repeated that. Like I said,
deserved, in my opinion.
It's nothing new, so why should I give it a high score? I'm actually a fan of G-Eazy too, so...
Oh, really?
Yeah, I actually like him.
You need to send me something, because I have never heard a song I liked by him.
You like Me, Myself, and I?
No, I didn't. I thought the chorus was just cringeworthy.
Really?
That's probably the more tolerable one, though, if I had to pick one to listen to. Anyways, moving on. Track 5.
What about You and I with Halsey?
Huh?
What about You and I with Halsey?
You're still on this. No, I don't like that song at all.
Really?
No, I think Halsey sounds weird on it, which is weird for me to say because I actually really like Halsey's vocals. But yeah, I don't know. I think she sounds weird on it, and he's got some really cringy lines on there. Like
yeah, I'll give you that. Some of his stuff is very basic, and it's like, come on, dude.
Yeah, like I said, it doesn't really sound like it takes his time with the... Anyways, this is about Phora. Track 5, Love Me Like. A nice sample laces the piano nicely. The beat comes in on point with that bass knocking in a jam block sounding snare, I think is what that is. And it gives a nice feel to the track. Then the verse starts, the beat comes in full force, and I dug it. It's simplicity in the best way, if you know what I mean. My problem with the record, can you guess?
It's repetitive.
Yep, repetitive chorus that gets way overplayed. Not much versatility on the verse either. Pretty simplistic lyrics. Again, a short song where the chorus overstays its welcome longer than the verses, or the verse, I mean. I did like the deep reverb added to the vocals at the very end though, but again, not much replayability. 4 out of 10. Where you at?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Very repetitive. I love the beat though. The drums are nice in the background.
Yeah, so we can agree on that, is the beat was really nice.
It was very nice. I think it was a lady that was sampled in this.
Yep.
She sounded amazing in it. But I like the message, but it was very repetitive. I just can't get this point across enough. If it's too repetitive, that's all I dwell on. 5 out of 10. Not a big fan of it.
Track 6.
We're fans of Phora, by the way. Just saying.
Yeah, no, I do like Phora. But man... Dude, I really like Phora. I love his old stuff. I would love to do a song with him, but man, this album is disappointing so far, dude. Okay. And this is just my preference, Track 6, Stuck in My Ways. Finally! A song I very much liked. A very vulnerable track from Phora and Black. Which I was surprised to see him on here, in my opinion. An eerie sample and a dark atmosphere starts off this record, setting the mood. The chorus was very nice. Phora's verse was full of quotables, very real. A line that stood out to me was, sometimes the person you would take a bullet for is standing behind the gun. The pounding bass and rattling trap hi-hats fit the production pretty well. The drums cut out in areas that I thought worked pretty well too. If I had an issue with the track, it would honestly be Black, and it's not what you think it is. He just didn't do it for me lyrically, in my opinion.
Really?
I thought it was a little bland, but I still thought he sounded really good on this track, and I dug areas in his verse. Um, yeah, so I'm at a 7.5 out of 10 on this one.
See,
This is Phora at his best. Like in general, in my opinion.
I like this song. It's a good, simple beat. It's not repetitive, which is key on this album. Is that it was not repetitive. Again, Phora's angry in this song. And he's talking about being betrayed. So, we already get that side, the side that I prefer of him rather than his depressed side. I actually ended up saving this song. This was the first song I saved off of this album. Black was great in it.
Dude, same.
He tied into the song well, and his contribution I felt was needed in this. It very much, I felt carried Phora, and it might be because I'm a Black fan. It was relatable. I feel that it just overall was good. It was my favorite track on the album from the point of listening to getting up to that song. It was my favorite at that time. So I gave it a 9 out of 10.
So you're saying this is where the album should have started?
Yes, 100%. Before this, it was...
This is actually the first song I saved too.
So, I like this one. It was good. It was where the song should have started, and I'm excited to jump into the next song.
Track 7, Sinner Part 3. Been a huge fan of the Sinner series from Phora. They always speak to me pretty deeply. He strips all pride away and delivers a very powerful and vulnerable song. His vocal inflection adds a lot of weight to the words he is saying. The words were fantastic, although we did get another taking the drugs to be numb line, but it can be looked past. I get a lo-fi vibe from the beat. Another eerie sample lingers in the background while we get a snare and some bass for most of the song. The beat felt as stripped away as Phora did. We get snippets of the chorus sprinkled throughout the verse, and I thought that worked well. The chorus definitely fits the emotion of the overall song. One of my favorites off the album. 9 out of 10.
Yeah. I'm just going to say it now. This was my favorite track on the album. Victor, the guy that was featured on this, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. I think it's... Well, I'll give it a shot. Tawo. He did great in this. I was a big fan of the first Sinner. Second Sinner was okay, not my favorite. But this one, I love the beat. The lyrics remind me of this place I once was in my life. And it kind of hit me like a truck. And this is my favorite song on the album, and I haven't revisited it yet because it just was so deep in that aspect. So I give it a 10 out of 10. This is the stuff I would like to see come from him more often than the rest of it, honestly.
But that quickly ends with track 8, Romeo. Didn't care for this song. Simple and basic from the instrumental all the way down to the lyrics. More filler with this throwaway 1 out of 10. I never want this anywhere near my playlist. Get it off this album, please.
Alright, so now I'm going to be Corbin on this review. It's a very chill beat. The lyrics could be better. I can relate to this song too, but Ford doesn't have a passion in this song. And it's very obvious. Even the songs I don't like on this track, he's very passionate about it. And this one, he's just there. It sounds like he doesn't care on this track, which is sad because I felt like it could have been better. But I liked it overall. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Dang. Wow, we are on different
I like
spectrums.
Phora, and I like sad rap.
I like Phora too, but dude, I like actual trying.
Alright, but Corbin, are you ready to get into some beef?
Number 9, No Scope Mouthwash. Okay. Okay, this beat bangs. A trap beat with reverse chords. That's a good combo for me. The bass pounds and I was bopping my head while listening to this song, but again, the lyrics, basic. Why do rappers throw flack at mumble rappers when they can't even prove they're lyrically better, you know? I mean, he rhymes tour with Forbes. You're still saying yeah after every sentence, like every mumble rapper. Also, how are you just going to repetitively repeat the same word over and over and over again just to add to the rhyme scheme? I wasn't feeling the one verse of this song, or honestly the chorus. I thought it was funny he touched on Logic with that 1-800 line and how he dissed MGK, but the rest, I give this one a 3.5 out of 10.
Listen, we covered this one in last week's podcast. It's very much a diss track based off of Eminem's Kill Shot, hence the no scope. He mentions...
And the man bun line.
Yeah, well, I'll get to that. So he mentions mumble rap and fake people, but like Corbin said, you can't really do that unless you back it up. He calls out MGK. I totally missed a Logic line. That like went right over my head.
Yeah, he said that 1-800 rap, I just want to be alive, yeah. I just want to be alive, yeah. If you mess with me, it's really suicide or something like that. And I was like, oh, that was, I don't really see the necessary beef there, if that's what that was, if that was a shot. That seemed pretty unnecessary, especially with a track that, I don't know. I just felt like it was not needed, but
well, he calls out MGK, and you can tell that he very much calls out MGK because he brings back to the all facts stuff, which if you listen to Rap Devil, MGK says that a lot. Whenever he like throws a diss out at Eminem, he follows it up with facts. He brings up the tweets and of course his man bun, like you said earlier. And I feel like there was some good bars on here, but there was very much right there balanced with some weak ones. It was kind of out of left field. And he's kind of trying to beat a dead horse, I feel, with this. Like, he's not involved in this beef, so he should not be a part of it.
It sounded like this was made last second for the album.
Yeah. And it doesn't belong on this album. It was much better as the single when it came out as the single, because it was in the moment.
It should have just hyped the album and just left it off, but I get why he put it on.
Yeah, but it just feels very out of place. I give it a 6 out of 10.
All right, but back to songs that I do feel like add to this album. Number 10, Direction. One of the more lengthy songs, and I rather enjoyed this one. The bell-like chime is being played in the background sets the tone of this track, and I do think the instrumental would have benefited with a guitar presence, honestly. This is another vulnerable track where I think Phora sounds the best. His singing voice is actually pretty nice in my opinion. I love when the beat comes in on the chorus and on the verses, just a hard-hitting bass and finger snaps. I thought the lyrics were pretty personal in a good way. I just wonder if he could write a song like this without mentioning he's numb. I've already heard that line too much on this album. The second chorus goes on way too long, very much to fill out more of the 5 minutes. The chorus was nice, but a bit too repetitive. There's only one verse, the rest is repeating the chorus with voiceover, and a filter is put over the instrumental as a whole near the end that I liked. This was a nice track, definitely could have ended after the first verse and second chorus though. I give this one a 6 out of 10. Where you at, Brennan?
Man, I should have went first because I don't have that much to say about this song. I said it has this interesting, simple beat. It's pretty repetitive, and the rhymes are very basic. I didn't care for this one. It's a 4 out of 10.
No replayability then? I saved this one, actually.
If there was a message, I missed it. That's what I gotta say about that.
There's not. He's just numb. And
yeah, so 4 out of 10.
Looking for direction. Okay, funny story to go along with this next song, track 11, called Space. This beat that was produced by Love Pulse Music, if I'm not mistaken, and I only know that because that was on the list of beats that I wanted to write to. So it was nice to hear what he did with it. I kind of heard it come up and I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. This was on BeatStar's top 5 beats that they were sent out to a bunch of people. And I got the top 5, and this was one of the ones that I liked out of the top 5. I noticed it went down off the website after a while. Now I know why. But yeah, it was nice to hear what he did with it. The beat is originally almost 5 minutes long, Brennan. So he definitely trimmed it down a lot for the space of one verse. The guitar sounds really nice to me. The chorus is nice and mixed well with the beat. The whole reason why I wanted to get on it in the first place. The intro to Phora's verse is basically him adding to the chorus, but doing so a little offbeat, and that bothered me a little. And it sounded nice though. The verse has some memorable lines, my favorite being, my biggest fear is being replaced, and being stuck between holding on and letting go. The lyrics definitely had its moments, but it's one verse, very short-lived. Then the part that comes after the second chorus is just him repeating lines from the first verse. That then drifts into a very unnecessary third chorus. He made a 3-minute song sound very, very long. Though it had its moments, I don't see much replayability again. 4 out of 10. Where you at?
Love the beat. So I was really glad that you brought that up right off the bat. The guitar, I also agreed, was very nice on this track. And I actually really like this song, but let me tell you why. You probably didn't like it because you probably didn't have a connection to it. I literally had an experience before, and it was super weird to have the connection to this song. There was an experience in my life with a girl, and she would ask for space, and then I would give her space, and then I would wait for her to engage first, I guess, because I was giving her space, and she would come back and like start being buddy again, and it was like, cool, we can start hanging out again, and then it would go right back to being like, I need space, and I was like, all right, eventually we just ended that whole ordeal because it just wasn't healthy. And I tied that into the song immediately. I understood exactly where he was coming from. I understood exactly what he was talking about. And I put myself in that position. I was like, holy crap, he's literally rapping about an event that happened not that far ago in my life. So it was pretty wild listening to that song and just like looking back. With that being said, since I had such a big connection with it, I gave it an 8 out of 10. Probably more than it deserves, but it really hit home for me.
You found personal value in it. That's all that counts.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Track 12, Her. Beautiful sample work on this one. The gentle piano really leads into the drums perfectly. I really like how simple the beat is, honestly, and it really helps Phora deliver the emotion in his lyrics. I did enjoy the lyrics for the most part, but again, there's a lot of rhyming, the same words with the same words, and that kind of takes me out of it. But the passion is still there. I dug it. Kind of short though. 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10?
What about you?
Same. 7 out of 10. I like the lyrics. The beat was very distracting to me. Could do without the background singing and the ghost voices in the back. You know what I'm talking about? Like the whispers or whatever that was.
The sampling.
It was weird. Yeah, I didn't like it. I love the fighting lines though, about wanting to be better, about fighting and instead set goals with her. That was a good line. I totally butchered it, but you guys get the...
You get the gist.
Yeah, you guys get the gist. And the song reminds me of Space and the same situation. So I gave it a 7 out of 10 because it kind of was repeating the same message. I want to go first on this next one.
Track 13, Phil. Brennan, go for it.
Drugs, numb, same shit, 2 out of 10. I like the piano. Halfway through, still hasn't said anything new that he hasn't already said. But the piano and the woman sampled, that was the best part about this. I give that a 6 out of 10, but lyric-wise, I give it 2 out of 10.
Fair enough. For me, I really liked the piano play in the background. I didn't care for the percussion, for any of the percussion used, honestly. The bass kick didn't resonate with me or do anything for the track. The clav-like instrument presence was unique and different. The fault for the instrumental lies in how simple it is, really. And I feel like I'm listening to the beginning of the beat underwater. As far as the lyrics, we get another lost in the drugs till I feel numb line, like Brennan said. And I'm bringing this up to show you just how much repetitive lyrics are noticeable. I'm really tired of hearing this line, like, honestly. But beyond that, the lyrics are somewhat meaningful. Phora just sounds bored as hell while rapping, though.
Oh my
So that
god,
took me out of
yes.
it. That kind of changes on the second half, though. The fadeaway portion was kind of nice. I like the female's presence. Led the track out nice. 5 out of 10. And that leads into the next song. Song 14. Back then, the reverse singing vocal created the background music and kind of made it really calming. I really enjoyed that. The beat knocks and Phora plays with it well. I didn't like the bass kick they went with though, but I really liked everything else on the instrumental. Now, lyrically, Phora keeps my attention, but I thought the chorus was repetitive as hell. Didn't care for that, but I vibe with the verses and the bridge. Some replayability there. 6 out of 10. You?
Not a bad song, not a great one. The lyrics were pretty basic, nothing to write home about. I gave it a 5 out of 10.
All right. Till Infinity. The final song. Track number 15. I got a lot to say about this one. The piano introduces this track for us. The beat brought the whole instrumental to life, though. There's a sample buried in the beat, and I really like that. It didn't disappear when the verse started, and I didn't mind it. I really like this beat. I'd love to write something to it, honestly. Phora is his best lyrically here on the entire album, right here. He gives us another vulnerable track where he talks about recent suicide tendencies that put him in the hospital. He really describes the way he feels and the difficulties of dealing with depression in a proper way. The struggles of trusting after being shot, and I just really like that. This is one long verse where he plays off the subtle beat changes. I thought that reflecting on life while the sun reflects on the wine glass was very clever, bringing up his recent successes while still dealing with these issues. Thought that was well put. Also, loved the lines, life is fast paced, made me remember the days I used to write my name on the billboard and made the whole world my stage, referencing his graffiti stage in life. I felt like this was a great end of the album. Pleading with the listeners to chase your dreams and don't give up on life. There's revolution found in devastation. And I really like that. Great song. My only 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10, huh?
I think this song deserved it. I actually have gone back and listened to this quite a few times.
Alright. Well, I love the piano right off the bat. The beat was banging for me. Phora speaks about betrayal, which is not new, but he speaks on like his suicide attempt and his depression, which is also not new. But then he switches it up and is more like a don't give up song.
Yeah.
So for once it was good to hear a positive vibe from this man. So for switching it up, I gave it a 7 out of 10.
I feel like about around this time in the album, you're kind of like, all right, let's get to the end.
Seriously, and it was honestly he didn't say anything new. It was just a positive outlook on it for once, like we were talking about earlier. This was literally what I was asking for. Like, you just need to be positive about your content instead of just throwing it to the same depressive route every single time. So,
For sure.
Overall, I'll go ahead and do my overall of Phora. Love as hell. Sinner Part 3 was my favorite track on this album. I'm tired of hearing about drugs and making him feel numb from the pain. Personally, I like his album that came out before this one a lot more.
Really?
I know you didn't really care for that one either. I gave this album a 7 out of 10.
Wow. You're going to hate me.
Would you give it like a 3?
I have an interesting thing to bring up that I kind of hate that I have to mention, but this is just what I feel like at this moment. But let me start off with saying this. Overall, this album had way more disappointment than excitement, and that really sucks. Even with the filler tracks, and I know he really deals with this stuff, but honestly, I feel like the depression exhibited on this project seems forced to appease that demographic. Take that as you will, but that's just honestly how I feel, and it's been driving me crazy lately.
No,
in this industry.
I feel that. I feel like that's a great way to put it too.
He even seemed bored on a majority of the tracks where he should seem emotional, and that just kind of adds to that idea. And it sucks that it has to come to this point, but I guess that's just what it is. I did find some hidden gems in this mix, few and far between. Just remember, I loved Forest Project's Angel with Broken Wings and With Love. So this project was very disappointing to me. I'm at a 4.5 out of 10.
Wow, it's quite a drop. But I totally understand where you're coming from. With that being said, I feel like Abstract just stole this week.
For sure.
Now, let's move on to the singles.
Singles. Let's start with that Purity of Silence by Christian Reindl, I want to say. Reindl?
Dude,
I don't know.
I love that song. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's about. I could not tell you what it's about. But it's like, it's just nice to me. It's like, it's like, soothing. It's soothing. It's like, it's gonna kill me because I just forgot the name. The Sound of Silence.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. All right, my take on this is the live piano and violin are utterly gorgeous on this haunting record. The crisp and reverb-filled vocals fit the tone of the overall track very well. The singing is so soothing as well and is really brought to life when the synthesized beat comes in. I recommend this if you're into Lana Del or any artist like that. I really thought the song was beautiful. I gave it a 9 out of 10. Where you at with it?
I thought it was pretty good. I wish I understood the message. I give it a 8 out of 10. Just because I don't know. I wish I understood the message. Like you, I listened to it multiple times, so I just couldn't find something to base it off of. It was just good.
Yeah.
A good beat, good tone, great singing.
I did try to find the lyrics too, and I couldn't find them. So
I couldn't find the lyrics either. So if anybody finds those or wants to decipher them.
So yeah, there's our thoughts on that one. Second, OnCue, Side Effects. Upon first listen, I wasn't feeling the song as a whole, but after a few more listens, once the beat gets going, it's actually pretty technical and sounded pretty good. The mixing is done pretty well on the track. Love the chorus. I especially like how the beat fades out for it. This song is a lyrical description of OnCue's last couple years. He's kind of been away from music. He does get personal on certain subjects. I like that. I'm kind of on this one though. Don't hate it, don't love it. I'm still looking forward to his album. I gave this one a 5 out of 10.
I was fairly disappointed with this one. The first time I heard OnCue was on a Jez Dwar song, and Jez Dwar is one of my favorites. So I very much followed him based off of that. And this track, this single, was pretty disappointing in my opinion. He's done better in the past. I will say it was pretty smooth, but not something I'd listen to often. But then, with that being said, I wouldn't skip it if it came back on.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
I give it a 6 out of 10.
All right, so that leads on to our third single of the evening. Anthony Russo, Can't Go Wrong. I feel like we're going to have different opinions on this.
Yeah, you want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Great. It was an okay song. Not a big fan. Nothing really stood out to me. I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Okay, I love how the chorus is integrated into the beginning to kind of build the beat out. I love the subtle use of his voice at the beginning. Excellent mixing brings together the soft speaking to an explosive chorus seamlessly. This dude has a nice voice on him, and I did not mind the song. Just a fun love relationship fooling around song. The beat is pretty mainstream, pop oriented with a hip hop appeal. Still had the bump quality, so there's that. The bridge stole the show for me. The layered harmonizing backing up Anthony as he sings sounded really nice. I gave this one a 7 out of 10. Alright, track 4. Anoyd featuring Cool Q. Solid gold. Anoyd is one of my favorite up-and-coming artists. This dude is a lyrical genius. If you haven't checked out his last album, do so, please. Single piano notes lead the track off with some singing in the background, and Anoyd sets up the song with monologue and then starts the first verse. The beat sounds really nice when in full effect. Anoyd just does his damn thing on this one though, lyrically spitting the reasons why he won't sell his soul for no solid gold. Love the Grand Theft Auto line, and Cool Q had a pretty great second verse. Held up against Anoyd, I felt like. Makes me want to check out some of his stuff. Good song, 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I agree completely. It was a good single. I enjoyed it a lot. The piano was very nice in it. I enjoyed that. Plus, the lyrics, they held up. They were good. And my biggest part is that they weren't repetitive. So I gave it an 8 out of 10. They did well together.
I agree. Okay, single number 5, Alphacub featuring OnCue, Friends. I got kind of an 80s vibe with how the synth is used in this instrumental. I don't know about you. I thought it was very poppy, but I enjoyed the song quite a bit. I love the guitar that lived in the background of this record. I didn't care for the effects on OnCue's voice though, mainly because I like his voice the way it is, and I don't think it needs that auto-tune crap on it. Sounds too robotic. Also, his parts are very tiny, but I did enjoy the song and the lyrics. But I don't think I'll be listening to this that often. 6 out of 10 for me. Where you at?
I actually enjoyed this single a lot.
Really?
Yeah, it was
interesting.
It was a good
I
jam.
thought you wouldn't like this.
It was a good vibe, and it was a catchy chorus.
Yeah, the chorus was really catchy.
So I enjoyed it. I gave it an 8 out of 10.
All right, Your Girl, track number 6, Halsey, Without Me.
This was released, I believe, the same day as Phora's album came out. Listen, I'm a big Halsey fan, and I like the song. But with that being said, I'm kind of getting that territory where it's kind of starting to sound like some of her previous work. Would you catch that on this one?
Well, that might be my problem because I don't really listen to Halsey. I think she's great. I love her singles that come on the radio, but I've never dived into an album of hers, to be honest.
Yeah, again, like, I like her content because a lot of it is more relatable. And I feel like when she covers her relationship, like, issues and stuff like that, I can relate to them because I have had those similar issues in the past, whether it be, dealing with somebody moving on or something like her song Sorry. Love that song. This one just kind of felt like a Halsey song, if that makes sense. And I hate to categorize that like that because an artist puts in the time and effort to make these, not just to be another song. But I was kind of disappointed with this single. Halsey's my girl. I love her, but it just wasn't new. So I gave it a 5 out of 10.
Fair enough. The fact that I haven't really checked out any of her old stuff might change my opinion a little bit. So the filtered strings in the beginning sound nice, plus when the beat comes in, I love that. Very synthesized though. I love Halsey's aggressiveness on this one. She really showed her vulnerable side, which apparently she does quite often. I really liked this cut. It was mixed very well, and I don't really have many complaints for it. However, it being really pop oriented, I don't really see much replayability for me. I give this a 6 out of 10.
Yeah. I mean, it was good, but I wouldn't come back to it as often as I would some of her older stuff. So, yeah. I mean, you should definitely tune into some of her other work because I enjoy it a lot. And that makes me believe that you would enjoy it a lot or you would hate it. As we've seen so far in this podcast, we have very mixed opinions about some songs, if not most songs.
That's good to have clashing sometimes. Though.
I like it. I prefer it. I would rather you tell me that the song you didn't like for this reason rather than me liking it because I had a personal connection to it.
Yeah.
I mean, it just makes sense. But with that being said, Corbin, we're probably going to have to cut this podcast into 2 parts because we went way overboard with these album reviews. But if you guys like these album reviews that much, maybe in the future we'll separate them, make them a little shorter for you guys.
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be easier on us too, maybe.
I don't know. I just had so much to say, and when it comes to music, I always have so much to say, and this is one of the only places I can ever really talk about music. So,
hey man, you're passionate about something, you're passionate about it. But I think we need to wrap this up because
for sure,
shout
it's
out
late
to you
as
guys
hell.
that are still listening. If you are still listening, you made it to this part of the video or podcast. Go ahead, leave a comment down below on some artists that you think we should check out that may be underground. Because we're not just about these mainstream guys. We'll do some SoundCloud rappers if they're good and can hold up.
Let's talk music.
Let's talk music.
I would love to talk music. One thing I'm gonna say is, I'm gonna ask, did you like Abstract's album? Did you think Brockhampton was too experimental? Did you think we were too harsh on Phora? Let me know. But check out all these regardless. Make your own opinion out of it.
Again, that's what it comes down to. These are all opinion based. If you guys disagree with us, let us know in the comments below. We're not going to get mad unless you're just being a dick about it. But if you guys want to actually share your opinion, me and Corbin, as you guys have seen, we collide in some things, and sometimes it's not always the same opinion, which is totally fine with us. If you guys think that one of our opinions was way off and you want to express why, go ahead and do it.
All right, with that being said, second podcast
in the books. If you guys want to go ahead and follow me on any social medias, at Mr. Montry on Instagram, Brennan Montry, content creator on Facebook, and just at Brennan Montry on Twitter. Instagram, definitely my favorite.
But yeah, thanks for joining me again. I know it's been a long one. But yeah, so that's it. Second podcast.
Done. Deuces.